Beautiful. Yeah. Let it be. Which goes along with our topic for today, which is meaningful encounters, which we all want to have occur in our lives. Meaningful encounters, a meaningful world, not a world of despair, darkness, fear, which is going on for a lot of people right now. So we're the only ones that can change our perception of the world. We have to embrace our experiences, whatever they are each day, and accept them as they are in order to have a meaningful encounter with someone. We have to accept ourselves and know that we are as God created us. I pray before I come here for some way to deliver a message that can be experienced, that can be meaningful, that can be heard. All I can really do is kind of help bring awareness to what is blocking those meaningful encounters. The meaning itself is more of a thing that occurs within your consciousness, within your heart, with you and your Creator. The Course in Miracles talks about that. It says that we can't really share the meaning of love, but we can remove the blocks in the awareness of love's presence, which is our natural inheritance. So to have meaningful encounters, you gotta accept where you're at in your journey. You know, if you're seeing a world of despair, darkness, and fear, you need to start there. All right. If you're feeling a mediocre life, you know, you're just kind of an average thing, you know, going on, and you know there's something more, you start there. You accept yourself exactly where you're at. And then you can begin the journey of self-inquiry, of questioning things. Is there room to expand my awareness here? Can I have more meaningful encounters with people? I want to share a little bit about some of my experiences with having meaningful encounters with my brothers, my sisters over the years. There's three parts of my life that I would say have been pretty challenging. Okay, number one was getting sober, which, you know, I'm talking about going into rehabs for a year, spending time in jail, you know, going to a halfway house. All this stuff was very challenging. Developing a support network, creating meaningful relationships with people, because I basically had these relationships that are based on me getting things from people, using people. That's what I was doing. So that was one. And then the second one was really nursing school. Was challenging for me, and the time after nursing school when my daughter was born, and there was some challenges with custody and things of that nature. So that was challenging. Okay. And through both of those times, I was able to trust in a higher power, and I was able to give meaning to that because I changed my perception of it. And then the third one was just recently going down to Missouri and to work on a COVID-19 unit. So that was the other one. And that was very, very challenging. Now, these experiences there's a common theme in them. You know, there's the fear that arises in, you know, the lack of control. You know, I don't know, when I was getting sober, I was leaving my parents' home. I was facing charges. I didn't know how I was going to live my life without these substances anymore. All these things were showing up, and I had no idea how I was going to live like this. And so I had to trust in a higher power. And I found that the only way to do that was to be in the moment. If I would deviate my awareness or my intention off of the present moment, I'd start to feel that anxiety and those fears, and I'd start to panic. So the only way was to be in the moment. So I learned that. I learned to live in the moment and just allow things to happen, to occur. And I learned how to channel understanding and words and insights, and to deliver messages to people and have meaningful encounters through this trust I started to develop. And so that trust carried me through to nursing school. And in nursing school, I met a lot of people, and I found nursing school was a lot of fun. I didn't want to get out of nursing school. I really enjoyed it, like learning, meeting people. We had groups. You know, it was just a lot of fun. It was, you know, when I went to see someone, I saw the Christ in them. You know, that was my goal, because I had developed this trust. So I learned how to see the Christ in people, see them as they are in the moment. And that's really what this season's about, is celebrating the awareness. Every season's about that. But the coming of Jesus in the body, and the physical body, really isn't as big as the actual Christ consciousness. An example, Jesus came here to demonstrate that we all are the Christ. You know, that's what it's really about, is that we already are this. So when I see you, I'm seeing myself. How I see any of you is how I see myself. I can lose myself in you, or I can find myself in you. These are ancient teachings. You know, this is something that, you know, the East has talked about for years. So that's really what's happening. And that's the only way I can find meaning in this world and having meaningful encounters, is seeing Christ. Anything else, if I see you as, oh, you offered me something, or we share in some knowledge or intellectual discussion, and you validate I'm right or I'm smart, you know, that'll get me by for maybe an hour or two. But I'm going to feel empty later, okay? I'm going to leave that. I'm going to feel empty. And that's a lot of the time what we're doing, is we're seeking out these relationships for people to validate what we're doing in our lives and to say that we're okay, all right? So we call someone on the phone, or we talk to our significant other, and we share some things with them and some dialogue. And we're really looking for like approval in a way. So the meaningful encounter that we're having is more of a giving. It's a demonstration of who we are, and it's a giving, an extension of who we are as well at the same time. So that's the meaningful encounter. So in nursing school, I learned to do that. And so it was enjoyable. So from the difference between me and the other classmates is they wanted to end it, all right, the school, because they weren't having fun. But I learned how to do that. I learned how to have fun and to share that experience I was having. And, you know, that was beautiful. Now, recently, I went down to Missouri on a venture. I signed up for it. The purpose was a part of the meaning, the going down there and helping people. I felt that connection with spirit. There was this drive to go down there and be of service. And it was challenging being down there. And a lot of my colleagues down there, they were complaining about things, about the assignments, about the travel, about all, and I felt it too. And at first I was like, well, why did you, I had some judgments. Like, why did you sign up for this? They kind of prepare you before you go that it's going to be tough. I mean, you might not even have electricity. They tell you that, you might be in a tent. So I was like, well, we have a car, we're getting food, but then I changed my perception of that. And I saw how they were suffering almost just as much as the patients I was taking care of. They were struggling as well. And I learned to just be quiet. And so for the next couple trips to the job site in the morning, I remained quiet and I stilled my mind, and I just extended this peace, this field of peace. Okay, I centered myself in the now. Going back to that first stage of my learning was being able to be in the moment. So I knew how to do that, and I stayed centered in that, and I just emanated this peace, which is being done right now. I'm embodying the state of peace that the Daily Word talked about. I'm experiencing it. It's not some concept in my mind that I got to believe in. It's my reality. And it can be all our realities each and every day. Now, I frequently, going back, I deviate from that, put my intention on other things, other distractions. But that's the goal. That's the meaningful encounter. And so when I was able to do that, I started to have meaningful encounters with everyone down there. And I also found some meaning with the patients while they were dying. That's when the charting, the treatments I was giving, the meds, there was a lot of the patients were confused. There was dementia going on. I tried to see meaning in that, but it was difficult. But once they started to die, all of a sudden something shifted with me, and I found this liberation, this connection that occurred. And I called the family. They could come in and they'd sign a consent to come into the unit, and a couple of them did that. We called the funeral home. They came to get the body, and there was just this presence or this peace that awakened there. It was like a natural flow, and I embraced that. So there was meaning there, okay? And I've learned that God is going to change my perception of situations to serve others. So if I can find meaning in those encounters, those dark moments, through being open to spirits, then I can be of service. You can be of service at any level if you can be open to spirit changing your perception of that encounter, okay? No matter what it is. Some people may come to us that we have no idea how we're going to help them. Absolutely no idea. But if we can remain open to spirit, no matter how it's come, we can be helpful and we can have a meaningful encounter. The Course in Miracles sums it up pretty clearly. Holy encounters, it can be interchangeable with meaningful encounters. In chapter 8, there's a section called the Holy Encounter. You've probably heard this before. I've said it before, in the years coming here. It says, when you meet anyone, remember it is a holy encounter. As you see him, you will see yourself. As you treat him, you will treat yourself. As you think of him, you will think of yourself. Never forget this. For in him, her, you will find yourself or lose yourself. Whenever two sons, two daughters of God meet, they are given another chance of salvation. Do not leave anyone without giving salvation to him and receiving it yourself. For I am always there with you in remembrance of you. For I am, that's Jesus, that's the Christ. I am there when we meet, when two or more meet together, whoever they are. And if you don't deliver that message of peace and love, you will feel guilt. There's no other alternative. So you're either delivering that message of peace when you meet someone, or you're going to feel guilty. So how do you undo the guilt? How do you remove that? Well, sometimes you got to make an amends. What's the 10th step in Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12-step program? When wrong, promptly admit it. And this might be just your perception of the situation. Forgiveness. That's how you undo that guilt. You do some inventory. We talked about the inventory, gratitude inventory. Could I have treated them better? Not in a blame, like, you're beating yourself kind of way, but just looking at your consciousness and your thoughts. And if they're not peaceful, then really they have no meaning. And that's where the Course takes you into the lessons, and it really dives in right from the beginning here at lesson 1. Nothing I see means anything. Okay, and then it goes on. The first 50 lessons are all about undoing. Then it says, my thoughts are meaningless. Because if I'm experiencing this guilt or this judgment about people, those aren't meaningful thoughts. So it's in this process of undoing your thoughts and just telling yourself they're meaningless. Lesson 13 says, a meaningless world engenders fear. If I'm seeing meaninglessness everywhere, I'm going to be scared. That's how I was in high school. Scared all the time. Frightened of people, feeling bullied, attracting trauma, emotional trauma into my life. Just doing that because I was scared and frightened. I was upset because I saw a meaningless world. I talked about the meaningless world last week. It was about the Buddhism. The world is meaningless as we see it. It is. And we give it all the meaning it has for us. By our perception, it paints a picture of it. It's potentially heaven. We talked about it is potentially, this is a paradise. However, we've tainted it with this fear, these judgments, this sadness, this lack of meaning. So this is what the Course in Miracles is trying to take us through, these lessons on doing that and showing us the real world. And it says God did not create a meaningless world. Did not create it. So that removes the blame of God doing it. We created the meaningless world, believing we're separate from each other. So we got to bridge that separation through having meaningful encounters. That's the holy encounters, the meaningful encounters, the sacred encounters, whatever you want to call them, just being with a friend. They're all portals to heaven. That's how we get there, having a series of those throughout the day. I meet you, I look at you, I see the Christ. I carry that home, I see the Christ in my partner, I see the Christ in my daughter. I go to work, I see that. And this is a very challenging sometimes, especially when it seems as if people are coming at us and pressuring us to do things that maybe we don't want to, or there's this bullying thing going on, or whatever it is. The shame, there's a lot of shaming going on. You should be doing this, you shouldn't be doing that. All that can ignite that trauma inside. That in a sense, feeling separate from God and our brothers and sisters is a traumatic experience. Having that for especially a long period of time, feeling that disconnect, that absence, it's the state of hell. So the way to undo that, again, is to see it for what it is. It's a meaningless perception. That's my thoughts are giving me a meaning. It's nothing else. It's not good or bad. It's just not meaningful. And so you're starting to awaken the meaning within. And it may just start with a little spark of light, just a little presence, a peace. You can relax, you can sit down, and you can be content with yourself. You can go back and you can just let your thoughts sit there, however scary they are. I think that was the very first step for me with getting sober, was I could just look at my thoughts and just look at them as they were. I didn't have to avoid myself anymore. And that's a huge shift. Some people stay busy all day long, so they're not looking at their thoughts. And then at night, they can't sleep, because when they're going to sleep, the thoughts come up. So that's what they do. Okay? And you can't avoid yourself. You got to do the training, the mind training. It says the Course in Miracles says it's a required thing. This doesn't mean this book is required for you to read it and do it, but the course that it's outlining is required for everyone. Everyone's got to do the mind training, the undoing process, whether they're practicing Buddhism, Unity Church, the teachings here, 12 steps, seeing a therapist, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. You got to practice it. And I was reading a story in one of the magazines of Unity, and there was this minister, Unity minister in California, that got diagnosed with HIV in 1988. And he felt devastated by this, and so he ran into Marianne Williamson, and he found A Course in Miracles, and he had some acceptance of himself, and he had to sit with that, probably that fear that came up. He was able to do that. Well, at that time, it was almost like a death sentence. You think that, but he's still alive today, and he's got 3 kids. He's married. So. And it reminded me when I was reading that, when I got sober, there was a guy that had HIV, and he was getting sober with me. And I was just inspired by that, because this was 17 years ago, 18 years ago. I thought that at that time that, he's going to die. He still finds some meaning in life to try to get sober. So that inspired me. I think he probably had no idea that what it did. And if I saw him, I'd thank him, but I haven't. So, you don't know, what's going to happen. It's just the moment, one moment, and it's fleeting. Like even that experience, all that experience in Missouri, almost all of them right now seem like a dream. I'm able to talk about them, but it almost, when I don't feel like it was really even me there. It's like it's over, because the time is so, who is the word? You can't grasp it. You can't hold on to the concepts and the time and the memories and stuff. They leave, and then they're replaced by something new, because I'm allowing that spirit to flow through me, and we all can. So something new is going to show up for us that's inspiring. And you're on to the next adventure. You're on to the next holy encounter. And this is a very exciting way to live, is you're having more and more holy encounters. Well, where's my next holy encounter? And you have a very meaningful and fulfilling life that's beautiful. And so this is what Jesus is asking us to do is to commit to that life of having holy encounters, meaningful encounters, and being grateful for them, even if they bring up that crap that we don't want to look at. They bring up those grievances, those judgments. You know, if that's when you really know that you've matured in your spiritual path, is when you're able to be grateful for someone bringing up your crap, helping you bring up, because you're able to look at the blocks in the way of love's presence. Thank you for showing me that, you know, being grateful. So, I think we're going to end with that. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.